This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised as some cases contain graphic content. We mean no disrespect to anyone we discuss in this podcast except our exes. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be expressing our personal opinions. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey guys, it's Cynthia.
And I'm Wes, and this is Love and Luminol True Crime Podcast.
Hey, welcome. This week we're going over Giovanni Jennings.
Giovanni Jennings.
You said it better than I did. Yeah, this whole case is messed up, but let's get into it.
All right, here we go.
Sorry, we recorded an episode last week, but the equipment messed up, so we were trying.
Yeah, we were out of town, so we didn't have our normal setup, and it just didn't sync up the way it was supposed to, and didn't have the normal lighting, so all the settings were different, and it just did not come out right.
Yeah.
So
It was all glitchy, so we had to pitch it.
yeah, but we're back.
Yeah. As long as this syncs up, we're back. But you got any news you want to cover?
Not really. The book will be out June 3rd. I've mentioned that before. Love and Luminol, based on a true crime podcast. It's a fictional horror story based on our family and our podcast. You can pre-order from our website, loveandluminol.com, signed copies. I can also take the orders directly through TikTok Shop now.
Oh,
so that's something new.
It is.
But if you haven't seen it yet, this is the book. Is that what you call it? The book.
Like, look at
Got
the
shine from the light.
Oh, I thought that was your head.
But yep, there it is. Yeah, the book. Many pages.
Yes.
But it'll be out June 3rd on, let's see, Amazon and Kindle and probably Audible as well, because we have someone working on the audiobook and it should be ready in time for that as well. I'm also through Ingram, so it should be Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, all those places for order. It's up to the store if they want to stock it, obviously local source, but it is in their catalog.
Nice. Moving up.
Yeah. That's all I got. Now, on to Giovanni.
Giovanni Jennings. And as you can see, I remembered to put the state up there this time. It's going to Michigan.
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 I like the space. It says Michi, and then underneath it, Gan.
They tried to fit it all in that little oven mitt-shaped state, but...
Yeah.
What's this up here? Is that part of Michigan? That's like a random...
I think so. I don't know.
Where'd that come from? In school, they only taught me about the glove-shaped... I don't know what that dangling hang up there is, but I guess that's part of Michigan.
I couldn't tell you.
Me either. It's been a hot minute since middle school.
The only thing I've been to Michigan a few times, but never really paid attention to the shape of the state.
Yeah.
And what if there's a little extra piece like that?
Somewhere hanging out. I don't even know.
Don't know.
Oh, well, learned something new. But Giovanni Jennings, and he's the victim.
Okay.
And there he is.
And it's a child.
It's a child. Yeah.
Of course it is.
A 6-year-old boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. Tough one.
I'll be over here. You guys do this episode. See you later.
I know. If I got to suffer, you got to suffer.
Hey, you chose it.
I have a lot of cases. But his nickname was Chulo. Chulo?
Chulo.
Chulo. But he's from Madison Heights, Michigan.
Okay.
Never heard of it. My mother's name was Elena Jennings. Where Jennings came from. She was 25.
Okay.
There she is. But that's Elena. Boyfriend was Daniel Giacchina?
Okay.
Giacchina? I don't know how to say it. He's 32. That's
okay.
it. He looks a little rougher, but
Mm-hmm.
they both, look like they've had some times. But that's Daniel. And we're going to jump to July 30th, 2024.
Okay.
Not too long ago.
No.
So we'll start this out. While firefighters and officers were called to a residence in a mobile home community. It is in the 25,000 block of, and these names I'm going to butcher, but DeQuinde Road,
Okay.
near 10 Mile for report of an unresponsive boy.
You said near 10 Mile?
Yeah.
So this is around Detroit.
Oh, see, you know your shit. But first responders found the boy not breathing, and he had suffered from several injuries. He had extensive bruising on his abdomen, which was bloated and distended, and he was transported to Ascension Macomb Oakland Hospital. It's a long name. And then once he got there, they transferred him to Children's Hospital in Michigan, Stilson Specialty Center, via airlift. The names, that's long-ass names.
Yeah.
There's like 6 names for that hospital. Children's Hospital, Michigan, Stilson Specialty Center. But chulo little Giovanni passed away on July 31st at the hospital at midnight from his injuries. So, of course, police went out there, looked at the home, checked out, trying to figure out what happened. And the police chief at the time for Madison Heights was Brent Lemerise.
Okay.
You see these names. They discovered a staple gun, a BB gun, a 9mm ghost gun. I don't know what that is. And bullet holes in the wall. So, that was interesting find there. A ghost gun was a semi-automatic with over 100 rounds of ammunition. What's a ghost gun? Means it's unregistered?
Means it has no serial number. It was never registered. So a lot of time, well, depends. Sometimes you can 3D print guns. They can make guns, but there's no serial number. Like there's no way of referencing them to a manufacturer or anything. It's just a ghost gun. They have no reference. They're not in the system in any way, shape, or form.
No. Well, that's lovely. Photographs they found in the home showed 2 children playing with the gun, pointing it at a third, while Daniel was in the background just looking on.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So the child care there was
non-existent.
not up to par, yeah. But they were originally charged with offenses, like other offenses, pending the autopsy.
Okay.
Just to clear everything up. But Elena was charged with lying to a peace officer. And Daniel was charged with 3 felony firearm charges. And that's what they were charged with originally. Daniel was also charged with being a felon unlawfully in possession of a firearm and ammunition. So he was a winner.
Okay.
Yeah. So the autopsy came back, and the cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma to his abdomen and a perforated bowel.
Okay.
Yes. So Elena and Daniel conspired to tell the police that the boy's father was responsible for the death. So they were trying to team up and pin it on Giovanni's dad.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, it's his fault, whatever. So they went and arrested his father and brought him in for questioning because they knew it was suspicious, his injuries and his death. But
Okay.
And they said it's all the dad, so they picked up his dad.
Okay.
However, Giovanni had a 4-year-old brother who told police everything that went down leading up to Giovanni's death. So he told them that, quote, Danny, that's Daniel's nickname, shot Giovanni in the leg with a BB gun and in the butt.
Okay.
So he was shooting him. Sorry, it's not funny, but let's just see a little 4-year-old being like, shot him in the butt. But the 4-year-old relayed that, he was shooting at Giovanni with the BB gun. Just never, no. He also told police, quote, Chulo, so I guess he called him Chulo too, died all day and Danny was there, is what he said.
Okay.
For a 4-year-old, I don't know. Chulo died all day. So, I don't know. He's 4. It's been a while since I was around a 4-year-old, but
Yeah.
in his mind, that was what he interpreted. But so they released Giovanni's father after his alibi was confirmed. The Oakland County prosecutor, the case was Karen McDonald.
Okay.
And Karen said, quote, Jennings falsely told police that she left Chulo with his biological father when she went to work that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy was uninjured prior to being with his father. Based on the investigation to date, there's no evidence the boy's father took part in any crimes. So she's saying I dropped him off at his dad's and he was fine. But then the prosecutors amended the charges to include murder and first-degree child abuse based on evidence in the 4-year-old's statements. Karen, that's the prosecutor, stated, quote, as we sifted, I can speak, through the evidence we found can only be described as horrific. An autopsy revealed Chulo had bruising and lacerations on his entire body, including his scalp, temples, lips, inner mouth, cheeks, forehead, chin, shoulder, forearms, fingers, thumbs, back, buttocks, inner thighs, knees, and shins.
Jesus.
So head to freaking toe, this poor child. That makes me sick. After hearing 3 days of testimony about the abuse Giovanni suffered, the Madison Heights 43rd District Court Judge, Keith Hunt, decided to send both cases, so Elena's and Daniel's, to Oakland County Circuit Court. So he said it needs to go up the chain. And that was where it got into. The judge then became Magistrate Michael Mitchell.
Okay.
And Mitchell, denied bond for the couple and scheduled a probable cause conference for August 21st. I don't know what that is. I guess probable cause. I don't know. I guess to see if there's enough evidence to go to court?
That's what I would think.
I think so. If the other judge thought there's enough evidence to push it up, I figured there'd be enough to go to court. But if convicted, both face up to life in prison.
Wow.
Yeah. The defense attorney was Leonard Ballard and Paulette Lofton. And that's them. There's Daniel there staring at this Leonard. That's Elena, and then that's Paulette there.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks like he's giving a sermon. He's got his work cut out for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of that. And that one guy's all bug-eyed and staring at him like, I don't know. But he looks like he's got his work cut out. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But
He's got some tales to weave.
yeah, he's got some bullshit to spew, but police uncovered evidence that Elena encouraged Daniel to beat her son.
Okay.
Yeah. Text. So he's really got his work cut out for him. Text messages were uncovered that they exchanged about his beating and laughed at some of the abuse. Yeah, so they were. Daniel texted Elena stating that he solved the problem of keeping the boy's face in the corner by stapling his clothes to the wall, and sent her a photo of it.
Okay.
She said he was being punished for looking out the window. Yeah, that's it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Daniel stapled his shirt to the wall so he would stay in the corner and not be able to turn around or anything. He was also kept in a pen in his mother's bedroom. This little dog pen.
What the hell?
Yeah. They also, as you know, the 4-year-old said Daniel would shoot him with the BB gun. They discovered that after being stapled to the wall, Daniel would shoot him with the BB gun. Because, he couldn't go nowhere. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But he was to sleep on a wooden plank that measured 11 inches by 36 inches. That was his bed, a wooden plank. I know. A black curtain was hung so that he could not see. Like when lights are out, it's pitch black, and all he had was this piece of wood. A video camera was installed in the bedroom to enable the defendants to monitor the boy in his corner when they're not home. So when they're gone, they want to make sure he stayed where he's supposed to stay. They enjoyed watching Giovanni attempt to escape his pen, known as, quote, the corner. So there's a little pen they stuck him in. And he'd try to bust out of it, and they would just laugh at his attempts. But a video was discovered showing Giovanni being shot with a BB gun and stapled to the wall. So they had video evidence of it. Probably through this text exchange they had.
Yeah.
Disgusting people. But that night, apparently, Giovanni began to vomit due to his injuries. Is what started this whole thing. But Madison Heights detective Scott Spencer testified that Elena told him that Daniel texted her about 2:10 p.m. on July 30th saying that Giovanni passed out and she needed to come home. She found Giovanni laying on his side on the shower floor. And when she asked Daniel what happened, he said he hit the boy. Yeah. So in a jail phone call, Daniel said he was wrestling with Giovanni several days before his death and must have hit him in the stomach too hard. He said they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bullshit. He said, quote, I ain't never tried to cause that boy no harm. I know I'm innocent. That's what he said. Well, that's him. On testifying, he ain't never tried to cause the boy no harm. So there was a Dr. Bradley Norat, I think that's how you say it. He was a child abuse pediatrician at Children's Hospital of Michigan, and a Dr. Nicole Kroom, who was an assistant medical examiner at Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office. And they both testified that it would take a large amount of force to cause those externally visible bruises, like everywhere.
Yeah.
They said it's like being in a car crash or like being kicked repeatedly in the stomach. But Dr. Narat said, quote, it's just not one spot, it's each one of those areas where we see bruises that he would have to have that trauma over and over again. So it's not just wrestling and I hit him. It's like it's repeated and forceful. But paramedic Damon Brown, who was lieutenant with the Madison Heights Fire Department, testified about the injuries he saw in the scene of the trial. So that's a picture of him. Mm-hmm. He testified at what he saw and witnessed at the scene. But Giovanni was under Daniel's care at home the day he died, along with Giovanni's 2 younger siblings and an unrelated 5-year-old. So there's 4 kids there.
Who the hell is this other kid?
I don't know.
Just an unrelated 5-year-old just at the
friend
house.
Or neighbor, I don't know. But the 4-year-old stated Daniel punched Giovanni in the stomach several times about 3 days before he died. So the 4-year-old saw these things. That's horrible. It was after that when the vomiting started. Elena called 911 at 2:35, obviously when she got home and saw this, because Giovanni was no longer breathing. And then Daniel's grandmother's name is Ann Nix, and Ann stated that Giovanni was put in the corner of the bedroom as a form of punishment. She said, quote, yeah, she's a winner, he was being real bad. I understand he was being real bad to his brother. Like that justifies stapling him to the corner. Mm-mm. No. It does, no. I don't know if, but it says he was put in the corner, so I don't know if she knew he was stapled.
I don't think.
Or if she was just put in the corner.
And she probably doesn't understand the corner reference with this, like, pen area. She probably just thought he was put in the corner.
Yeah. So I don't know if she knew the extent, but there you go. She lives in the Ackles mobile home community of DeQuanty Road. So she lives in the same community.
Yeah.
Is the same place they say Giovanni suffered blunt force trauma to the abdomen after a lengthy period of confinement and child abuse. Ann said, quote, when I was home, the one day I heard her reprimanding him, slapping him with a belt.
Oh, so they're in the same house?
I don't know if they're in the same house.
Because she said when I was home.
Yeah. So maybe it is the same house, regardless if she witnessed that and didn't do a damn thing.
If she was in the same house, she would have understood what the corner meant.
Yeah, she would have known all this shit, so she should have been up there with them.
Yeah.
But that's Elena in tears for some freaking reason.
Because she got caught.
I know. And this Ann lady, I don't know if she ever got charged, but she should have been. Like failure to report or something. Something. Yeah. She was adamant that she was unaware of the abuse. And she's unaware that Oakland County prosecutor charged her grandson and his girlfriend with murder and first-degree child abuse. She just didn't know none of this was going on, apparently. But she heard his belt whooping, so I think she's full of shit.
Yeah.
They were both denied bail and are being held at Oakland County Jail. And then August 21st, there's a hearing was rescheduled due to the extensive amount of evidence that needed to be reviewed.
Wow.
There was over 200 pages of discovery, and then there's additional files. And a hearing was reset to September 11th, just this last year.
Okay.
So I haven't found anything yet about it, but and there's a picture of little Giovanni. But so that's all I got. Like, I don't know if it's still going, maybe, if they were sentenced, but I know it's a horrible freaking people. No, that's all I got. Does Michigan do the death penalty?
I don't know. I don't know.
So I think it said they could be, if guilty, they'd get life in prison, but I don't think that's good enough.
Let's see.
There's just a lot they had to go process with this case and the text and all this stuff. I don't know if it's still ongoing.
Michigan does not have the death penalty.
Dang it.
They were actually the first state to abolish the death penalty in 1846.
So they would get life in prison if they're guilty.
Yep. Wow. You had to pick this one. Like, a kid's abused, he's killed, and then, by the way, we don't have anything. Like, no answers to this. Like, nobody's punished. No.
I know. Let me see. Because last I looked, there wasn't nothing. Let's see.
Could have waited until there was something.
I got a lot going on.
By the way, Oakland County, where all this is, remember I said 10 miles? I said, that's probably close to Detroit, right? Mm-hmm. Oakland County is just northwest of Detroit. Look at it. Detroit, Oakland County.
It is close, see?
Right on that edge, right there is Detroit.
Oh, there we go. Daniel said to his grandmother, "Half the bruises he does to himself, and the only place we whoop him is on his ass. We spank him, not beat him, not torture him." Sure.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, does not at all. But this article was November 22nd of last year, and it says to stand trial. So as of November, they're still pending trial.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that it's been solved yet, because all I see is they're charged.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it.
So it's not, I don't see.
They've been charged. They've basically postponed the case for a while because there's a lot of discovery.
Yeah, so it's
defense needs to go through the evidence, and it's just not gone anywhere yet.
Yeah, and I think this was for what did they call that? I mentioned it earlier. You said to find if there's enough evidence to go. They still had that to do, and then get ready for the trial, and then so they still have discovery or whatever. So there's still a lot, but update when we find more.
Hopefully they get through everything and get them the punishment they deserve.
Yes. He looks precious. Me sick, but that's all I got for you today.
All right.
I know you were wild. You're like,
we come back and we give you this.
No. To make it fair, the one we recorded that messed up was not a child.
Thanks. Would have rather given you that one.
Yeah, sorry. It's actually one you thought the background of my PowerPoint had stripper heels. So.
It did involve someone underage, though, or supposedly, yeah. But they weren't.
Supposedly, but no.
It involved the catfish. Anyway.
Yeah, so.
But we recorded it at a hotel, and yeah, the lighting's different, so the settings on the camera were different, and it just, yeah, it was glitching out. And then all of the audio didn't record for some reason. It was just a lot going on. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get this one instead.
Sorry. But thoughts out to Giovanni's family.
Definitely.
Not his mom.
No.
But the other family members that truly did care for him. And if you know who you are. If you honestly suspect child abuse, do call somebody. Don't call them because you don't like to co-parent. But call them if you seriously think a child's being hurt. Don't just, you know, look the other way. It never hurts anybody to check it out.
No.
But don't just do it because you don't like to co-parent. Do it because of a child.
Yeah.
So, yes, but... Yeah.
All right. Well, feel free to like and subscribe. All of our links to audio and video podcasts can be found at loveandluminol.com, our website, as well as contact information and links to our social media. We're everywhere except for X, at Love and Luminol for all of those. Majority of the time we're on TikTok, though, so everything goes through TikTok and then kind of filters down to the rest of them. But like I said, on TikTok, we do book talks occasionally and other videos. And you can also, like I said, if you want to get a copy of the book, you can pre-order a signed copy through our website or through the TikTok shop. Again, it'll be available pretty much everywhere after June 3rd, though, including audiobook.
Yes.
So that's all I got.
Woo!
We did it!
Hopefully, if you see this episode, then you know it matched up.
It worked.
Everything worked. Get the ball rolling.
Everything seems to be working right now,
Yeah,
so
I can't wait to get the other studios area set up so we don't have to move equipment and all this. And
that's kind of where the problem lies. You move the equipment and then you got to change all the settings on the camera based on where you moved it to and if you're in a different location. And
yeah.
Obviously, if we keep doing it here, I can leave the settings the same, come back, hook it up. Everything's good. Every once in a while, you get something weird happen, but for the most part, it works pretty well here. But when you go somewhere else and everything's completely different, then everything gets fucked.
Yeah.
But once we get the studio up and together, we can just kind of set everything where it needs to be and just turn it on. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
But you got anything else?
Gallstones, that's it.
True that. True that.
Pain and suffering, but...
That's another reason why we haven't been around a lot is we've just had a lot of extra issues. People in hospitals, people getting a lot of scans and stuff. And yeah. So there's a chance we may have gaps between our episodes just because of everything we got going on. Once we get everything calm and cool, we'll come back to weekly episodes. But for right now, you may not get one every week.
Yes. And there's also some remodeling of some stairs, so we won't be able to record when there's, you know,
in fact, right where we're sitting, there will be stairs coming down right here.
So we'll have to get. So we'll have to find
different
adjust.
spots, and maybe by the time that's going on, we'll have the studio done, and we can just do it out there.
Hope so.
I'm hoping.
Yes.
But all right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
I'll see ya.
Bye. Yeah, take it, mama.
Leave my mom out of it.